hell?
We're live. Or we do the CJ thing where we're like, are we live? This is live. Yeah. Pop's doing it. Yeah, we are live, and it's been we were gone last week, and a lot of stuff happened. Vince McMahon, yeah, pretty criminal stuff. Not funny.
Yeah. For those that don't know what's going on with Vince, it's very serious. It's going to go down as probably the worst thing in the history of wrestling, and it's not a gimmick. It's the real deal. He's going to be facing some serious allegations, which he already has, and I think this is just, I was telling Becca earlier, this is just barely opening the can of worms. It's going to get worse.
Yeah, I always thought he was a weirdo. I didn't think he was evil. Or
no, I had no idea. It was
not this kind of evil, like more like a rich guy evil. Yeah, this is some Epstein kind of stuff. I agree, Callie. Like, this guy is disgusting, and I honestly think he should go to prison.
Well, let's not just pin it. There was other. It's a little crazy how other people were involved. John Laurinaitis.
Why is Johnny Ace wrapped up in this? Like, he always.
Oh, why? I don't know why he did it, but he was definitely. Basically, they were locking that girl up in the office, and old Johnny and them were passing around like a whatever you want to call it. And to make it worse, his wife has this cancer. So it's about disgusting as it gets. And let's not leave Brock Lesnar off the table. Like, there's Brock Lesnar allegations. There's tweets about a UFC champion making a return. I think we all know who that could be, and what they could do for him. And who knows what all other wrestlers there's numerous allegations, but not a lot of names.
Yeah, the Brock stuff is pretty shocking. I always thought he was more normal of a guy than that. Disappointing, to say the least. And the Johnny Ace thing, I just think it's funny because, I'm a big fan of the Cornette show, as I always say. When he fired Cornette, Laurinaitis is the one that actually delivered the termination. He told Cornette, hey, this is a company traded on the New York Stock Exchange. This is a public company. You can't swear at the wrestlers, but you can do all of this, Johnny.
Yeah. I saw him react today. He goes, well, you know what? Fuck you.
I love Cornette. He's a different animal, man.
Well, he was saying, like, I think Bruce Pritchard was still around a little bit, or am I crazy? I don't think he was.
But he doesn't think. Okay. So Cornette says he couldn't see Pritchard doing it. But here's the thing: just because you didn't participate in this, if you have knowledge that it was going on, which, I don't want to flash forward to our Rumble talk because obviously we'll get there. But in the media scrum, who thinks that Triple H kind of fumbled the ball on commenting on this?
Nah, I think he handled that about as good. I'm not a Triple H fan, but what can you say, bro? He just deflected to the positive. He definitely didn't do anything damaging.
He pretended that he hasn't read into it yet. Come on, dude.
Oh,
yeah, you did.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
That's my problem with it. You're telling me your father-in-law has a 70-page court document of all these nasty texts, and you just haven't had, and he's also involved in the company that you're helping run, and you didn't take 5 minutes out of your day to maybe peruse a little bit?
No, yeah.
I get you can't comment on it, but I thought Cody Rhodes did an amazing job at addressing it. He said, oh my gosh, we heard about it the same time you did, and couldn't believe it. I've been in a lot of companies with a lot of shakeups, but I think this is the locker room that can, counteract that. And we're we know the fans are disappointed, and we're going to do our best to entertain them in this trying time, you know? Like, boom. That's all you had to say. You can't comment on it, but hey, we're going to work our damnedest to prove that we can be trusted and put on a quality product. Don't lie. Don't say something we all know is BS that I just haven't had time to read that yet.
Yeah, I mean, out of everybody that's going to say anything, Triple H is probably going to be the last, you know. I don't like Triple H. I hope he don't make it that long. Everybody loves him. And another interesting thing is now that Vince is completely gone, the guys that are running it aren't wrestling background oriented. The money is coming from, I mean, I guess unless UFC's fake, I don't know.
Yeah, this is we'll see where they go from here. I mean, this is far from over. This is the beginning. Papa Wheelie, for those people that don't know, could you tell the people what the reports say? I honestly, Pop, I don't want to get too graphic into it. I think a lot of it you can find on the internet. A lot of it's gross, but let's hit the stuff that's criminal. He coerced this woman. There was literally, in a publicly traded company, she was in a no work position where her job was essentially to be a sexual plaything for Vince McMahon and people he gifted her to. And this physical therapist business and the group sex, all that. I'm going to avoid that part, but let's just talk about it.
Well, another thing to make it kind of more crystal clear is that I think he spent about $14 million on NDAs and agreements, people not discussing this, and he actually had an NDA with this girl, and he kept fucking abusing her. So she has a bunch of texts and a lot of evidence. I don't think there's any way he's going to get out of this.
She has the receipts for sure.
Yeah.
And speaking of NDAs, this isn't even the most expensive NDA that's out there. He has other ones.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that like to chintzy people. Right. And you got to think they're wrestlers.
Oh. And I mean, just the fact that I guess I can say this for me as a WWE stockholder, I was paying for this woman to have a I don't own a lot of it, but I have a few shares from my days of playing with the apps.
Huh.
And
I'd be a little disappointed if I held some of it.
Yeah, no work jobs. It's like something out of The Sopranos, the no pay, no work jobs, or the no pay, no work, no show jobs. She was literally paid to go to an office building where people knew what her purpose was. They knew she wasn't supposed to be doing anything. They just kind of worked around her and she sat in a room by herself.
Yeah. Well, the final thing I'd like to get out before we would move on is that I've always been an open-minded thinker, even with the most tragic events that's happened in WWE. And I've always thought of conspiracies that there could be a little bit of truth in them, because if you dig deep enough in the rabbit hole, it's like there's a lot of fucking evidence that they just wash under the rug with a lot of this shit. And like private investigators, they police themselves when they're that rich, you know. And now that he has some fucking dirt that's clinging to him for the first time in his life, maybe people will start opening up their fucking mind and seeing that, hey, it's possible he's done darker things than we know. You know, like
I think that's almost a guarantee at this point.
Yeah. So I'm not surprised. The only thing I'm surprised is that they finally pinned him down, because he was always able to buy his way out.
Yeah. I mean, he's done. He will never control the WWE again. And how long have they known about this? Because this broke the morning or the day of when he rang the bell with the group, right? Or the next day, Pop? Next day? Yeah.
Yeah, it
So
definitely took the steam out of the Rumble, like a day before the Rumble or day of.
I think a few days before the Rumble.
Okay.
But that does bring us to our next topic. Let's talk the Rumble. I didn't think it was great, but I liked the buildup, and I like who won most of the matches. I really did. Did it feel like? And I'm skipping ahead into the Rumble. We'll come back to the women. Did it feel like the LA Knight, Roman Reigns, the four-way? Did it feel like you would have been better served having some of those guys in the Rumble?
Oh yeah, you needed those guys. I am very pleased with AJ Styles' look now. He don't have the soccer mom hair. His hair's a little longer. He seems a little more gritty. AJ, all those guys are underused. Like,
How did
all
you
four
feel
of them
about
guys.
AJ taking the pin?
I guess it didn't bother me that much.
I don't think it took anything off of him.
Nah, probably not. Anybody could have got pinned in that match except for Roman.
Right. And of course, again, you have Solo Sikoa getting involved, and Randy Orton seems to be like they're really building him up right now into a destroyer. They're really pushing him.
He still looks phenomenal. He never took the Hollywood. I mean, he tried to take the Hollywood route, but that didn't work. And he's definitely a legend. So he's someone to mess with. I like that promo he did with Roman's mic work is not as impressive as people think. I don't know that he didn't fake his leukemia. People say that's a fucking thing that could be possible. You know, I hate to say that. You doubt it, but you know,
he faked his leukemia because I think he had it when he wasn't famous too. But let's
at the same
let's
time,
go back to the
yeah, we'll move away from that.
Before even the women, Biggie,
yeah,
who introduced the Rumble?
Oh, Big Hulkster, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, he was definitely in the house.
Biggie definitely might be onto something. If he's not going to do something at WrestleMania in the ring, he's at least going to be involved in something there, I think, at this point. Right, Big?
Well, I already feel vindicated from my Hulk Hogan because when I first started talking about this, all I'd hear was, no way, he's N-word and Pino movies, and there's just no way that could happen. And then all the rumors were pointing in this direction. I mean, Hogan saying, Hogan isn't no goof. Like, he isn't some bottom of the barrel scrub. Like, if he's going to go public and say things, you might want to listen. You know, I know everybody thinks he's a liar. And then you start seeing the what was it, 40th anniversary? Yeah, 40th anniversary of Hulkamania. I mean, they're not going to ignore that. And it's just kind of a good time for him to come back with all the attention on Vince. Like, get your mind out of the gutter with Hogan and just accept it. Like, people love him. I know a lot of people love him. So.
And then, did you find it weird when he shows back up later in the Rumble? He's essentially cutting a commercial for the city of Clearwater. Like, so who was paying Hogan to be there? Was the WWF paying or WWE paying him? Or was the Tampa Tourism Board paying him? Because I wondered about that because he literally cut like I don't know if you got to see it, Big, but he cut like a 5-minute commercial for Clearwater, Florida, which is essentially Tampa Bay.
Well, he's a prominent figure down there. He's got his shop. He's got his bar. I mean, he's basically the mayor almost. Yeah. So don't shock me.
Yeah, it was kind of it was weirdly placed. Like all of a sudden it's just Hulk Hogan talking about visiting Clearwater. Like what? Weird break. And speaking of advertisers, I guess we glossed over this, but I think a lot of the pressure to get Vince out quickly came from Slim Jim of all places.
Yes, it did. They were one of the first people, and shout out to them. You know, back whenever they first started with the wrestling people, I think they thought that the WWF would take the lead with it, but Macho Man going to WCW and stuff really put a kink in that for them. So uh, they haven't. I don't know if they've always been on board with Vince in the first place. I'll tell you another interesting thing though is I seen something about Stephanie and Triple H. They had a vote to see if they wanted to have Vince come back, and they said they voted no.
Correct. That was and Stephanie left when Vince rejoined the board.
That's commendable. That makes you think. Of course, they knew what was going on back then.
I love Callie.
Some of them promos that Stephanie and Vince had back in the day were very telling now. Like she said straight up, like, you asked me to have sex with coworkers and I did it. You know, like they said that on a WWE program.
Oh jeez Louise. Yeah, some of the trash writing from over the years makes you wonder if Vince was projecting.
Absolutely, man. I saw another guy say that it all started when he started doing the workout trend stuff. He got hooked on trend and started getting super sexualized. I don't know, man. I don't know exactly when it started.
You know, years of being on the gas, and also, do you think he got in the ring pretty late in life? Any CTE going on here? Like, not that that excuses his gross, deplorable behavior, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a guy that's got some CTE.
Yeah. That's what someone was saying was like concussions. It was like he's had concussions.
Cornette said it. I know for
Cornette
sure.
said that.
Yep.
Yeah, post-concussion Vince, he said, or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, he might have something to it. I don't know.
I mean, he was taking bumps in his 50s.
Yeah, and not to toot my boy Hogan's horn too much, but he did pull the best match out of Vince McMahon. He actually got Vince to jump off a cage onto a table once. It was pretty crazy.
Oh, Biggie.
My boy. I'm just saying, who had a better match?
Hogan always got good matches out of people. So, yeah, let's get back to the Rumble. The women's, I actually enjoyed the finish. I'm going to choose my words carefully. I enjoyed the finish of the women's match more than I did that of the men's because I was actually surprised.
It felt like a more star-studded event than the men's. Like, they had people coming in from other places and
TNA.
Yeah, they did some good shit on that, I thought.
The Knockouts champion came.
She's a stud.
Yeah, the women's was better. I agree. It was a good match. How do you feel about Bayley winning, Pop? I'll let him type that. Biggie, any opinion on Bayley winning the women's Royal Rumble?
Nah, not too much. I tried to watch it, and I just got to see highlights. So
I thought it was a weird choice, given that they've kind of treated her like a jobber for the last few years.
I mean, the person you think would win coming into it would be the Ripley chick, right?
But well, Rhea wasn't in it. Rhea's champ. She wasn't in it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
I really thought Sasha Banks was going to show up.
Okay.
But Naomi showed up, and I didn't really... The crowd had an initial reaction to it, but I didn't think they really seemed to care after a minute. It was a weird Rumble crowd. And that was Vince's call to have Bayley be a jobber, yeah. Yeah, I know he didn't ever really see a lot in her, did he? Well, I agree with most fans. Like, I appreciate that. Like, you can tell this is her heart and soul is in this, and I thought it was a cool moment for her to win. It brings up an interesting storyline with her power group and who she'll challenge. So Big E's live playing Tekken 7 and Norenrad live playing Tekken 8.
Damn, you went up to me.
Well,
yeah, Tekken 8's fun. I can't play because I don't have my character. That's what I'm sticking to. So I main my character like 95%, and he's not on the game. So until then, I'll get it.
Pop, any other women's Rumble thoughts? Jade Cargill, we should probably talk about her. She looked decent. Probably shouldn't ever work with Liv Morgan. They looked really awkward together. I think if you're going to put Jade in a feud right now, it's got to be with somebody that can work safe with her. And honestly, I don't know if I would have put Jade in as early as they did. I'd have probably saved Jade for last or second to last. She just worked too long. It exposes her. Tekken is taking over.
Tekken was football, Tekken, and the Rumble this last weekend. Mortal Kombat has really crapped the bed lately.
Yeah, I don't really game that much or ever. I know both of you guys do. Wait for Pop to comment. And yeah, did you see any of the clips of Jade Cargill working big?
I don't think so. Jade Cargill. Oh, you talking about the chick from AEW? Yeah, they had that cool spot where they were both holding the chicks up for a Gorilla Slam or something.
Well, she threw Nia Jax over the ropes. It looked pretty terrible, but I mean, getting Nia over.
That's pretty impressive. You know, I saw something funny. Nia looks just like Jennifer Lopez. Do you know that?
Yeah, I've heard people say that.
That's so funny, dude.
Refrigerator Jax is what Cornette calls her.
Cornette came out of this so clean, dude, because he wasn't into WWE when this crap was going on.
Yeah, and he's pretty happy about that.
Yeah.
He needs to send a gift basket to Santino Marella for getting him out of there and getting him fired.
That's for real, man.
He's always said I would send Santino a gift for that, but he didn't do it out of the goodness of his heart, so he gets nothing. Geek Out with Roscoe, what's up, man? Hey, just stopping by to say what's up and hope you all have a great night. Thanks. Kelly says he likes boobs. Well, Jade Cargill almost showed him. Her top came off a little bit at the end there. Did you notice that? When Liv Morgan tossed her during that whole exchange, Jade's top we almost had a wardrobe malfunction. Do you like Liv Morgan, Pop? I don't see it with her. She's so little. She's not very good in the ring. Well, let's talk. I know Pop wants to move to the men's Rumble, but let's finish up with Owens and Gunther. You forgot about that match. There were 4 matches, and it took 4 hours.
Damn.
That was a long show.
I missed that one too, dude. And I'm pumped for Gunther, but I'm sure he won, right?
Yeah, he won. He beat Kevin. And I think they did it in a way that keeps Owens. I liked that finish. Or yeah, it wasn't Gunther. Gunther was in the Rumble. Logan Paul.
Yeah, oh, okay. I was about getting ready to say that, but I wasn't sure. I just saw a clip where it was Logan versus Owens. So Owens won that, right?
No, Logan Paul won.
No, Logan beat him. Oh, wow.
Yeah. But they did it in a way where Owens kept that's funny. I was picturing Logan in my head, but I called him Gunther. Anyway, so the finish was some internet personality that works with Logan Paul, who I have no idea. He was wearing a white t-shirt. He slips the brass knuckles to Logan to hit. Kevin gets over on Logan, gets the brass knucks, hits Logan Paul with him, rolls him up. 1, 2. Oh, wait, the referee notices that Owens is still wearing the knucks, and Logan wins by disqualification. But that's a classic. Damn. I mean, that's an 80s finish right there. I like that. That's an old-timey finish. They don't use DQs that much anymore, so it actually feels kind of different. Pop says he's sure that was a Triple H call.
Oh, you give him too much credit.
Yeah, I don't know whose call it was, but somebody who appreciates older style of wrestling. I like the DQ because it doesn't completely tank Owens, you know. It lets him keep his thing going, and I'm pretty sure that feud's going to keep going, so we can get some more traction out of it. Some more tread, I mean. All right, now we will move on to the Men's Rumble.
Oh, okay.
Let me know what you thought, Biggie.
I saw one return from a guy from 3 years ago. He wore a mask. What was his name? Matsunka or some bullshit. What the fuck was that guy?
Yeah. Who's he mean, Pop?
He had a mask on. He's from 3 years ago. That was like the only returning person, I guess.
I mean, the Men's Rumble didn't have any real huge surprises, did it? Cody did win. We've got that. Oh, Andrade, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andrade.
They started off with Jimmy and Jay. That was okay. Good for them. I heard that R-Truth had a couple funny spots in both the Rumbles, actually, the women's and the men's.
Yeah, R-Truth. He's one of the few guys that when he comes out to do his shtick, gets an audience reaction pretty consistently. I think the WWE fans like have a soft spot for R-Truth, even though he does a bunch of nonsense. I think everybody's on board with it. Dominic Mysterio would be the other one. They love booing his ass.
I saw an interview with R-Truth, and he said that he's one of the only. He said that Vince used to tell him, "I don't want anybody doing any funny shit besides R-Truth. R-Truth's the only one who gets a green light."
Interesting.
So
Callie says he went to the 1993 Rumble. Who won that one?
93, probably Stone Cold.
93? Be a bit early for Stone Cold.
Oh, yeah, maybe Hogan. Fuck, I don't know. Hogan won 2 in a row, then HBK, and then Stone Cold, and they all did it within like 10 years, so probably HBK.
Yeah, Cody joins pretty elite group.
Yeah.
When he was K-Quick, I do remember that. Yoke won 93.
Oh,
that was a good one.
That's my top 5 wrestler, Yoko. Did you see DDP was in the back when Cody came? Didn't he finish?
Yeah, and he was at his press conference.
He's like the closest egg to Dusty. He's still alive, right?
Pretty much.
Besides fucking Dustin.
Well, and you've got people that worked with Dusty like Flair and Cornette, really. I mean, not to always bring up Jim Cornette, but Cornette worked with him.
I think they're missing a lot of potential with not having. Or is Dustin ever going to go back to the WWE, bro? I mean, Cody's there killing it.
Yeah, Cody's doing awesome.
There's definitely some gimmicky stuff you could do with that, but I don't know. I don't know if they could figure it out. Are they that smart? Dustin's probably having his best wrestling in his whole life at fucking 60 or 50 years old.
I would like to see Dustin retire in the WWE.
At least get some
He does
stuff
not
that.
need to be in that clown show AEW anymore.
No.
Yeah. I'd like to see him hang his boots up in the WWE. Last match
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. He's always one of those guys that kind of got crap for being put in the spotlight when he first started because his dad was the booker. But
right,
besides
the
that,
natural
like
Dustin Rhodes.
which he was hella impressive back then. He had some great matches with Stunning Steve and a bunch of good matches, but he might not deserve it.
I mean, the Goldust thing could have taken out lesser men. He made it his.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? He got that gimmick over.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's an old school Gorgeous George gimmick, man. It's one of the biggest things. Adrian Adonis, you know, so it's a big cash cow, really,
Adrian
if you work it
Street
right.
too.
Adrian Street,
Homophobia
yeah,
is a powerful gimmick back then.
it's always been a cash cow in wrestling, man. Huge. It's the biggest. I think Gorgeous George is or whatever the hell his name was the biggest draw. People think about Hogan, but he was filling like huge coliseums and shit, man. He was in the 50s and shit, man. He was huge, bro.
So, I didn't want to say it, but like
What?
Mussolini, Punk's injured again.
Oh, like Mussolini.
Tore his dang tricep again.
It's what's his name fought. It's that one fucking giant goofball. What's his name?
Drew McIntyre?
Yeah, fuck Drew McIntyre, man. You got to be a little easy with these guys, dude. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? I hate it when wrestlers injure people, man. It's not that serious, dude. You got fucking CM Punk. God, you know he's a fucking cream puff.
I was trying not to. I was waiting for you to do it.
He's a cream puff.
I'm depressed. It's just like I felt Punk's frustration on Monday. I just like felt it in my chest, man. Like I think he's done, and I don't know if he's willing to accept that, but I just don't see this going any further. You can't, if you're WWE, you can't invest long term in him. He's brittle. He gets injured.
Brittle, but you could find people that could work with them. That's why you should have kept Dolph. Dolph wouldn't have hurt him.
Yeah. Now Dolph never hurt anyone.
No. I find people that can work, and you work them.
He'll be back, but
why put him in the ring with that animal? You don't put him in the ring with that animal. That guy's a nut. These wrestlers can't work no more, Becker, dude. I'm tired of these crap wrestlers, bro.
Do you think the plan was to have him win Elimination Chamber and challenge Seth at Wrestle? I do too. I think that was the plan. I thought it was pretty clear. He'd have been the headliner night 1 and Cody headlining night 2.
Well,
it sucks. It sucks. So where do we go from here? What are our ramifications? Vince out, Rock is in, Rock's on the board. We didn't really talk about that yet. Rock's going to be involved in WrestleMania supposedly, but we don't have any idea of how yet. I thought he might have shown up at Royal Rumble, but nothing.
Yeah, I am not a Rock fan. I feel like he's just not doing well in Hollywood, and he's coming back. He's never been the guy that really spoiled wrestling fans. He's always, I love wrestling with the passion.
Pop, you're going to go nuts, but I kind of agree with Biggie in that the Rock's movies have not been doing well lately. And I I think his return to wrestling and making money from wrestling via the board, for getting the moniker The Rock, ownership of it, his stuff with the football leagues. I think he's thinking about life outside of movies, and I think he could be possibly looking at one big cash out through wrestling too. Any match he does it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Continue
sorry.
on,
Just real quick. Any match he does is going to benefit him more than it does any fan.
Wow. I think that he really does believe in his narcissistic mind that him and Roman would be the biggest WrestleMania ever. But in my mind, it's not going to be that big a deal.
I mean, it is a big deal, Big. Now, that I'll disagree. It's a big deal, but I think it was a bigger deal like ever, 2 years ago.
The biggest ever, though?
What would you put over it? The only thing I'm willing to the only thing I'm gonna say that's bigger than that would be Ultimate Warrior Hogan.
Oh, I think that WrestleMania 3 for sure. I would about every Hogan match in my mind. Hogan Warrior was good.
Every Hogan match.
Just about. The Yokozuna stuff definitely better. It's just a washed up old Rock. Like I mean I wanted this to happen, don't get me wrong. I think I was one of the few people that were saying it could happen, but at the same time, like I don't know if Roman can pull it off. I mean, he's kind of, his stuff's kind of played out. We're going to be wanting Rock stuff, and also, are we willing to have Rock as champ?
Comment: Drew didn't do it on purpose to Punk. Stop it, Biggie.
Okay. Did you see how he slammed him down? It looked pretty clear to me.
I'm not one way or the other, because I'll be honest, I don't think I've actually gone back to watch the part where Punk got injured, so I don't know how it happened.
He threw him down pretty hard on his shit.
Okay.
It was pretty bad. Yeah, it didn't have to be like that. And at the same time, Punk should have protected himself, but it was pretty out of control. It was a little bit of mustard on that thing.
So what does excite you going into WrestleMania, Biggie? Is there anything you've been paying attention to more wrestling than you have in a while? What is there anything where you're like, I can't wait for this at WrestleMania?
Not really. I don't know we don't know what's going to happen. Everything's in the air. So what is there to be excited for? Like maybe Rock will come back. I'm predicting it could happen, but I don't know that it's not in concrete yet. So
right,
everything to be excited for predictions.
We're pretty sure that Cody's going to try to finish his story against Roman, right? I mean, that's a pretty obvious match now. He's been talking about it for a year.
Yeah. Can he do it? I hope he does, but I don't. It's okay. This is what it is. All right. So WrestleMania is just another blip in the road for Roman to get through to be able to get to the Hogan record. That's all WrestleMania is in my mind right now. And
I think Cody's taking the belt off him at WrestleMania. I think this will be Cody's moment. They've made him a back-to-back Rumble winner to capture his heat back that he had at this time last year. And I think he finishes his story. I think he takes the title off Roman. And I think he takes back the belt they stole from his daddy in the garden.
Yeah, I hope so too.
If you don't, what
think
can you do with him after that? If he loses the back-to-back WrestleManias to Roman Reigns, you're done.
Yeah. I don't know if he's done, but I think that's more realistically what's going to happen, bro. They're stuck on this record, bro. That's all the social media talks about is he's had the belt for how many days now? 900 or some shit.
What if Hogan comes out and screws him for it?
I don't know that he won't. You know, all it would take is just to hit the theme music and then Cody rolls them up. I mean, that's all it would take.
Would you pop for that, Biggie?
Hell yeah, because I mean,
if Hogan protected his streak.
Well, I already said I felt vindicated just because WWE's doing any kind of business with Hogan, but if he actually interfered or dropped a leg on him, or at the very most had a match, which I doubt, hell yeah, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. Piss on Roman in his
I love
one
when
match
you talk
a year.
about Hogan and Pop's eyes almost fall out of his head.
Yeah, he's the worst Hogan fan I ever met. I love Hogan. No, you don't.
Well, I think Pop's a wrestling fan, and Hogan ain't doing too much wrestling anymore. He's definitely a legend, but I mean, he's retired now. I do after recent events and going and doing my research and watching some interviews, I think Hogan definitely is 100% thinking about having another match, but I think it's got to be the right match. And I don't think he's coming back just for anything, but
no,
I do think he would.
And if he's going to have a match, I'm glad it wasn't the Rumble, because it would have been an in and out thing. Like I'd rather him have like a normal match, but really I don't even need that. Like just them doing any business and bringing him up is enough for me at this point. I understand he's old, and I don't even want to see Rock wrestle, so it wouldn't kill me if Hogan didn't get a match,
So Biggie, what would you have rated? And I don't think did you watch the entire men's Rumble?
I just watched the highlights. I seen some of the 4-way. I watched like all of it until the pin, and I watched some of the highlights for the women's. So I didn't see anything else. No.
What did you think of this Royal Rumble?
The Royal Rumble is supposed to be the second biggest event. I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, Survivor Series, I guess, is okay. SummerSlam, but the Rumble this year, it's not like the old ones. I mean, it's never going to be that good.
It didn't deliver in my mind. A C+ effort.
Yeah. See, I mean, they did what they could with what they had, but could they have gotten more people to pump it up a little bit? I think so.
Where were the stars?
There was none. They're all 50 years old.
I think they were all in the LA Knight should have been in the Rumble. I think that was a mistake. I think Randy Orton should probably have been in the Rumble. And all right, have AJ versus Roman or something. I don't know. I don't know if he even needed Roman on the card, because we all knew he wasn't going to lose the title.
Well,
so why even have the match?
The 4-way was the most exciting thing in the Rumble. Just because we never get to see Roman defend. Like Hogan's had 2 less matches than Roman this year. So how exciting is Roman Reigns?
Well, he doesn't work very often.
He don't work hardly ever. So that's all we had to be excited about was, is Roman going to break a sweat? Like, okay. Is Brock out because of the scandal? Because Brock would have been an excellent.
Brock was supposed to be in it. He wasn't because of the scandal.
Oh, that sucks.
That's
they needed some Brock.
Accepted as truth.
Yeah.
Pop says Roman is overrated as a title holder. I'm not a big fan of part-timers. And to be honest, if you're going to have a part-timer right now, I'd rather have Logan Paul, because when he does work, it's fun.
Yeah.
I have a lot of fun watching Logan Paul. He looks like a smarmy jerk. I have no problem accepting him as a heel, as an arrogant heel. And I think his matches have been better than you would have ever expected them to be for whatever he is, an influencer.
I'm coming. I'll come. I got to go in there and watch my kid. He wants me to stay up and watch him, so I'm saving out, guys.
Well, we'll probably wrap it up then. That was
I hate to ruin the party, but
Brock is done with WWE per reports. Yeah, not surprising with all the stuff coming out with his involvement. So Biggie,
I don't want to rush out without saying one more thing. So, you know what would have been classy is if they could have done something with the what are the guys, the Iron Claw guys?
Oh, the Von Erichs.
They could have done something classy and brought those. Do you know how fucking excited people would have got if those kids would have been in there, bro? Those two kids of his.
Yeah.
That would have been something, bro.
More than some of the people they did have in there. It was kind of a dead crowd too for Rumble.
They have shit bookers, bro. There's ways of hiring small amount money talent and getting huge pops, and they just don't. They're not creative no more, bro. They have no creativity.
Because they have writers and not bookers.
Yeah, writers. I mean, I think the right.
Seriously, their writers don't know wrestling. You know what I mean? They know writing stories, but
you get all this free publicity with that movie, pretty much, and then you could cash in with just a small little contract or anybody. Like there's a lot, even the guns, like the guns with the scissoring, like get some AEW. Are they so biased against AEW they can't hire back some of their talent? Like I don't know what's going on with those guys.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Big what we got coming up tomorrow, club special guest, right?
Yeah, Collector Club, special guest, never been on the channel before, and we're going to be doing annuals. So every annual book, and I changed the rules to where you don't have to show 5 books. We might show 2 books, we might show 3, I don't know yet, but I want to make it easier for the guys instead of having to bring 50 books to a competition.
Sounds good.
That's about it. Yeah, church on Sunday with Bleecker.
Church on Sunday with Bleecker. I'll be there, I'm sure.
Yep. How about you, Becker? You got some stuff? Thanks for the categories tonight. It was good talk. I think it was very impromptu with the Vince McMahon, and you got to talk about it. And I didn't know. I feel like I've educated myself enough to where I could tell people about it, but until you take the time to learn, you just don't know, you know. So people might be watching this and learning something too, because it's a lot more worse than what people are saying. It might be, like I said earlier, I think it's the worst thing, that it's the darkest thing in wrestling right now, in my mind. Even darker. I'm not sure Benoit did it, so I feel like we know Vince did this, even though, you know, people got in trouble. Vince Kraft's crazy.
Well, Pop, you got anything you're plugging there? I know you're typing right now. For me, I'll be at Bleecker Sunday, I'm sure. And Pop says he'll be gaming and lip syncing and stuff on his channel. For the unnamed Wrestle Talkers show, I'm Beckerman. That was Biggie. Papa Wheelie, we thank you for anybody who watched and commented tonight. Hit the like button if you're watching it on the rewind. Leave a comment. And, yeah, Pop's 30 short on 900, so let's get him to 900, folks.
Nice.